Good evening, friends. Welcome to our intergenerational Christmas Eve service here at Second Unitarian Church of Chicago. I'm Reverend Jason Leiden, and my pronouns are he and him, or anything else with respect. Today we're meeting in person here in the 2U Sanctuary, and we're continuing to welcome people on Zoom. We ask everyone's indulgences for the complications of a multi-platform service. We're glad you're here whichever way you're choosing to attend. If you are in the sanctuary here and would benefit from hearing assisting devices, you can see our tech team in the back. We are currently seeing both a national and global surge in COVID numbers as well as the flu. And so we encourage people to wear masks during the service. This practice prevents the transmission of the virus and helps us center the needs of those who are most vulnerable. Our service this evening is led by our Director of Faith Development, Brittany Morse, and our ministerial intern, Heike Eghardt, along with Marcia Ashley as worship associate. Music is provided by our Director of Music, Carl Kennedy, and guest musician, Maria Requena. And our time together requires a large group of people who make possible the worship, the music, and the technical production. They are listed in your order of service, and we thank them for their ongoing service to our congregation. I do have a couple of announcements for you this evening. The church will be closed starting tomorrow until January 2nd. That said, if you have a pastoral emergency, you can reach out to me, and you can do that via text or phone call. I will be out of town, but I will be very available for phone calls. You may have noticed that we're continuing our tradition of a mitten tree here at 2U. So I encourage you to bring scarves, warm hats, and of course, mittens to decorate our tree, which is located in the Palmer Room. And if you would like to contribute, you can do so through January 7th. We will then donate these gifts to those in search of warm things during the many cold days ahead. A quick note about next Sunday, the 31st. Instead of a worship service, we will have a potluck brunch that morning. So please join with those who are gathering here and share your favorite breakfast foods. The kitchen will be available if you need, and we will gather at the regular time of 10:30. You can find more information and additional announcements in your order of service. And I now welcome Marcia Ashley to lead us in our call to worship.
We are a Unitarian Universalist congregation, a community of children, youth, and adults, a people of many beliefs and traditions, bound not by the specific list of things we believe, but by the values we share. Whether you are joining us for the first time or for this 1,000th time, you are welcome here. Whether you believe in God some of the time, all of the time, or none of the time, you are welcome here. Whatever your race, whomever you love, whichever way you move in the world, however much money is in your pocket, you are welcome here. I invite you, when you're ready, to take a breath in and out. As the music begins, let us enter into our service together.
Our first carol today holds a very special meaning in my heart as a native of Germany. O Tannenbaum, known in English as O Christmas Tree, was originally a German folk song about a fir tree. The literal translation for Tannenbaum is actually fir tree, not Christmas tree. The song refers to the evergreen quality of the fir tree as a symbol of constancy, faithfulness, and as a source of hope and comfort. It wasn't until fairly recently in its long history that the song became associated with Christmas. And today it is one of the most popular German Christmas carols. Growing up, we had a tradition in my family of singing it under the Christmas tree right before my sisters and I got to open our gifts on Christmas Eve. I'm excited to share the singing part of that tradition with you today. In keeping with the cultural customs on this side of the Atlantic, for those of you who celebrate Christmas, I'm afraid the gift opening part may have to wait until tomorrow morning. Now, please rise in body or in spirit, and let us sing alternating verses of O Tannenbaum and O Christmas Tree. The words will be displayed on the screen.
You may be seated. In just a moment, Heike, here at church, will light our chalice, the symbol of our faith. As we light our chalice, let us say responsively the words by Reverend Sarah C. Richards. You can find them printed in your order of service and on the screen. O come, all ye faithful. Here we go. Mary and Joseph, Rudolph and Frosty. To hear Christmas stories, some old and some new.
Reminding us that love, hope, and mystery are true.
Please continue. Please stand and join me in reciting our covenant. The words are on the screen. We covenant to build a community that challenges us to grow and empowers us to honor the truth within ourselves. We will be generous with our gifts and honest in our communication, holding faithful to a love that embraces both diversity and conflict. Called by our living tradition, we will nurture spirituality within a vision of the eternal, living out our inner convictions through struggles for justice and acts of compassion.
You may be seated. Okay. I'd like to invite you on a journey with me back in time to my childhood and about 1,000 miles east. I'm a kid at my grandparents' house in Natick, Massachusetts, gathering with family on Christmas Eve, as we always do. My brothers, cousins, and I are, like most kids, constantly on the go. We run, race, skip, jump, and give each other galloping piggyback rides through the afternoon. We begin outdoors. We bundle up to appease our parents, but rapidly shed the layers once we are outside and out of sight. We feel the cold December air on our bare hands and faces, but we keep the core of our bodies warm through vigorous, committed playing. When the sun makes its early farewell, we head indoors to continue our shenanigans, feeling the burn of sudden warmth on rosy, frosty cheeks, the type of comforting burn that makes us realize we hadn't noticed how cold we'd become and how much we need the wave of warmth. At a certain point, a couple of hours after the sun has gone down, my no-nonsense grandmother, Oma, tells us that it is time. My brothers, cousins, and I scrunch together shoulder to shoulder on the living room couch while Oma turns off the lights and puts an old German record on the record player. Meanwhile, my grandfather, Opa, uses a long match to light the candles, yes, real candles, on the Christmas tree. My parents fill up large containers of water and bring them over to the tree just in case. And then we are still, utterly still. The candles on the tree in the dark room mesmerize us as we breathe in the scent of fir tree and flames, to the backdrop of Oma singing Stille Nacht along with the scratchy record. In this moment, all is calm as the words of Stille Nacht, Silent Night, suggest this evening should be. In this moment, everyone gives themselves and each other permission to mute the chaos of our active, noisy lives and to slow down our breath. Together, we hold the stillness and beauty. As my brother snuffs the candles, my mom reminds us we don't actually know what time of year Jesus was born. But there's a reason that we celebrate at this time of year. We need an excuse to come together in the dark and the cold to create light and warmth with each other. Whether it's the pagan tradition that my combined Unitarian, Universalist, and Catholic family borrowed, of lighting candles on a fir tree to celebrate the return of light as the days start to lengthen, or whether it's the Jewish tradition of lighting a menorah to honor the rededication of the Jewish temple, or whether it's the Kwanzaa tradition of lighting a kinara to represent central principles, or whether it's the Christian belief that a bright star in the dark sky led people to baby Jesus. Finding meaning through light shining in the darkness at this particular time of year is human, holy, connective, and beautiful. So let's celebrate with light and warmth together. Each year, members and friends of 2U make a commitment, a pledge, to support the ministry of this church. In addition to this contribution, each Sunday we take a collection so that we can share with those doing justice beyond our church community. While we are unable to come all together in person, you can still share your resources. To make your contribution, you can send a text to the number on the screen, which will be up shortly. It can also be found in your order of service. For those of you here in the 2U sanctuary, if you prefer to write a check or give cash, you can place it in the box labeled Visitor Cards and Donations in the Palmer Room. As you exit the sanctuary, the box is located on the wall to your right, just outside the glass doors. For the month of December, we are sharing our plate with the minister's discretionary fund. This fund is a resource that we share with our minister so that he may provide direct assistance to those within and beyond our community who find themselves in financial need. It allows for cash support to cover groceries, rent, transportation, and other essential needs. For those who need a financial hand and who cannot turn anywhere else, this fund is a gift and a blessing. Your generosity is greatly appreciated. Marcia, would you lead us in our offertory words?
Now, I invite you to join me in reading our offertory words. The words are printed in your order of service and are on the screen. This church is the community of ourselves. Its energy and resources are our energy and resources. Its wealth is what we share. As we contribute to the life of this community, we affirm it and enable its participation in the life of the Lord of Goddess. The offering will now be generously given and gratefully received.
I invite you now into a spirit of prayer and meditation. Let us center ourselves by breathing together. Take a breath in and out. The words of our prayer come from Elizabeth Strong. We are in the midst of the season of celebrations of the birth of new hope, of the Festival of Lights, of triumph of freedom. The darkness of the year is lifting, and the time of light grows longer. We have gathered with an anticipation of hope for peace on earth and in our homes. We have gathered in this season of celebrations, seeking comfort to soften the pain and the losses our lives have suffered in the fast retreating year. We have gathered to worship joyfully within this season of celebrations with the tenderness and love of family and friends around us. Let us be embraced by the strength and power of the sacred space as we create this beloved community. Let joy and sorrow in the fullness of our living join in the fullness of our living. Let the power and strength we embody join us together as we move through the seasons of celebration into a new year with a new vision of hope for peace on earth. May it be so. Amen.
I'd like to invite those that are young in body or spirit up to join me at the front. Come on up. Great to see you all here this evening. Okay. So you'll notice I've got the Wonder Box here, but this isn't a Wonder Box we're going to be just digging into. I'm going to use it for some props as I tell you a story. Now, this is a very special time of year for a few reasons. Tomorrow's Christmas. That's pretty exciting, but there was also something special that happened a few days ago called the winter solstice. Does any of you know what the winter solstice is? Yeah, go for it, Lucas. Exactly. Couldn't have said it better myself, Lucas. For anyone who didn't hear, he said it's the darkest day of the year, and it's the day that the days start getting longer. You have something to add, Marion?
Yes, and tomorrow's also my mom's birthday.
That is so exciting, a Christmas birthday. Those are the best. We've got some of those and some other families here tonight as well. Happy birthday, Angeline. Okay, so in pagan traditions, honoring the winter solstice is really special and important. So I'm going to tell you a pagan story about the winter solstice right now called The Return of the Light, or The Rebirth of the Sun by Starhawk. Okay. It was winter, and the sun was feeling very old and very tired. The sun had been working so hard day after day, shining and shining light to support all the people and creatures and plants on earth. And the sun was just feeling exhausted. And it was getting harder and harder to wake up in the morning, and then harder to stay awake. And so the sun was getting up later and going to bed earlier. Mother Night noticed that the sun was feeling exhausted. And Mother Night said to the sun, "Come take a rest. You were born out of my darkness billions of years ago, so come to my darkness now. Let me cradle you. Let me wrap you in my arms." And so Mother Night cradled the sun, and then the night was very long indeed. The children said, "When will the light return? When will the sun come back out?" And the grown-ups said, "The light will return, but we need to thank the sun for everything that the sun does for us." So the children sang and danced, and they thought about everything that the sun does for them, and they said, "Thank you, sun, for feeding and helping to grow our corn and lettuces and wheat. Thank you for growing the trees and the forests, and for growing the seaweed in the oceans and the krill for the whales. Thank you for shining your bright, beautiful light on us every single day." And the sun listened while being cradled by Mother Night and was starting to feel a little bit younger and a little bit more energized by these words of thanks from the children. Eventually, it was time for the children to go to bed. And the grown-ups said, "We will stay awake and wait for the sun to return." The children said, "Can we stay awake too?" And the grown-ups said, "No, you'll get too tired. But what you can do is you can each light a candle, because every fire is a spark from the sun's fire. So light a candle and keep it by you. Let it keep vigil for you as you sleep and dream of the sunrise." So every child took a candle and lit it. I'm going to take one for your brother too. Lit it and let it keep vigil as they slept and they dreamt of the sunrise. While the children slept, the sun took a little peek and noticed all those little fires burning, and the sun started to feel younger still and more ready to burn brightly itself. The children woke up in the morning and they went with the grown-ups and they faced east in the direction of the sunrise, ready to watch for the sun's return. And they watched while the night turned from black to indigo to blue, and they kept watching, and then they saw a golden sheen spread across the horizon, and then all of a sudden, the sun, rejuvenated, burst into view, ready to burn more brightly and energetically than ever. The sun had been reborn from Mother Night. And the children saw, the reborn sun, and they cheered and they said, "The light has returned, the sun has been reborn." And they danced and sang to celebrate the birth of a new day. So, my friends, thank you for sharing that story with me. You'll notice as we move through the winter and the spring that the light will stay a little bit longer each day, as Lucas said as we started this out. Yep, by about a minute each day for a while. So the winter solstice is a very special time that we just passed, and you all can take your pipe cleaner candles as another thing to play with through the rest of the service. Thank you so much for joining me. You can return to your seats. Anyone who didn't get a candle that wants one, I've got a couple extras.
Please rise in body or in spirit and join us in singing hymn number 235, "Deck the Halls with Boughs of Holly."
Tis the season to be jolly, fa la 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 la.
You may be seated. Our second story of the season is an abbreviated and adapted version of A Glorious Mishmash by UU minister Bob Janis. Christmas these days is a kind of glorious mishmash. A Christian holiday is put in the midst of timeless winter solstice rituals attached to the Roman religious rites of Saturnalia and Mithra. And then, over the centuries, this time is commemorated in works of literature, TV specials, light shows in the village square, and sales at shopping malls. Like the Christmas feast, there's a little bit of everything in our collective celebration of Christmas. Something for the devout and the secular, for the introvert and the extrovert, for the materialist, the musical, and the mystical. Christmas was not a holiday in the early church. Easter was the center of the Christian calendar. Jesus' birth was celebrated sporadically here and there in Christian communities until Pope Julius named December 25th as the date of Christmas in the year 350. He chose that date to be competitive in the marketplace of festivals. The winter solstice celebrations were massively popular throughout the Roman Empire, and Julius sagely considered, if you can't beat them, join them. It was a holiday by decree. There have been countless attempts along the years to reclaim the true Christmas, or to ban it altogether. For those who want to strip Christmas down to what it's really about, there is a kind of denying their own religious history, whether willfully done or simply out of ignorance. Christmas has always been a mishmash holiday. Even in the Gospels themselves, it's a bit of a messy story. On a side note, if you were here last Sunday for our do-it-yourself holiday pageant, you might have gotten a sense of just how messy that story is. And without going into too much detail, I think it is safe to say that there are some inconsistencies in the biblical accounts of Jesus' birth and some historical inaccuracies as well. Now back to our story. So, as a narrative, the Christmas story is anything but perfect. It's messy, it's awkward, it doesn't come with a tidy bow. And yet, the great minds and spirits of so many generations keep coming back to this well. They keep coming back to the stable. And they keep finding some new magic there, some new way of telling old truths. What are the old truths? That a little light in the darkness and warmth in the cold is a good thing. That there is rest for the weary. That God is with us, whatever that may mean. That we should be good to each other, generous with each other, and our collective life will be better for it. That the true measure of greatness of any society is how we treat those on the margins. Let us hear our anthem. So, I have a question for those of you who celebrate Christmas. I'm curious, what are some of your favorite things about Christmas? Would anybody like to share? Yes, just shout it out. Presents, okay, what else? Spending time with family. Music. Decorating the tree together. Hot chocolate, all right. Time off from school, wonderful, yes. Time off from work. Okay. I heard somebody say, decorating the Christmas tree. I have to admit, that is one of my favorite things to do too. Every year, when the holiday season approaches, I get excited about that. My husband and I usually get a real tree, and I have to admit that I am among those people who show up at the tree lot the day after Thanksgiving. Growing up, I always had to wait until Christmas Eve before my dad would bring in the tree and decorate it. That was, and still is, the custom for many people in Germany, including my family and friends. And just like Brittany's grandparents, my Oma und Opa also had real candles on their tree. Being the Christmas tree enthusiast that I am, though, it didn't take me long to wholeheartedly embrace the American tradition of putting up the tree early in the season. I just love the way it makes the house smell and how it lights up the living room once it's decorated. And the longer I get to enjoy it, the better in my book. Speaking of traditions, have you ever wondered where the tradition of putting up a Christmas tree came from in the first place? Well, one thing is clear, it did not come from the two gospel accounts that tell us about Jesus' birth. Neither Matthew nor Luke mentions a Christmas tree, or any tree, in their stories. As a matter of fact, many beloved elements that are part of the way we tell the Christmas story in nativity plays today simply do not appear in either Matthew or Luke's gospel. So, what do we know about the origin of the Christmas tree tradition? Where and how did it get started? And more specifically, how is it that a fir tree, a species of trees that is foreign to the Mediterranean region where Jesus was born, came to be one of the most recognizable features of Christmas celebrations around the world? These are questions that scholars of all stripes, historians, theologians, and anthropologists alike, have examined, written, and argued about extensively for centuries. And yet, when it comes down to it, the honest answer is that in spite of all the research that has been done, we just don't know for sure. Here's what we do know. For the first 300 years or so, Jesus' followers did not celebrate Christmas. It just wasn't a thing. Somewhere along the line, a decision was made to commemorate Jesus' birthday on December 25th. Since there is no biblical evidence that Jesus was born on December 25th, the most logical explanation for why this date was chosen is that it coincided with a number of popular winter festivities already in place in the Roman Empire, including the winter solstice. These pagan winter festivals had many of the characteristics that we have come to associate with Christmas. Light from candles and fires, greenery, feasting, gifts, and social gatherings. As one scholar puts it, from its very beginnings, Christmas was a fusion of pre-existing winter festivals and Christian themes. However, it wasn't until Christianity spread from the Mediterranean to the colder and darker climes of Northern Europe, picking up existing religious practices or adapting to them along the way, that the fir tree became a prominent feature of the holiday celebrations. Again, there are a number of competing legends about how exactly this tradition got started, but there seems to be widespread agreement that it originated in Germany. Various accounts from the 1600s show that by then, Christmas trees were common in German homes. And by the 1800s, German nobility had embraced the custom too. Its members were instrumental in spreading the custom to regions outside of Germany, including England, where Queen Victoria and her German husband, Prince Albert, popularized the Christmas tree tradition. Not only that, they also helped revive the celebration of Christmas after the Puritans in England had outlawed the practice because they considered it unbiblical and rooted in pagan superstitions. These sentiments were also prominent among the Puritans in New England. In their estimation, Christmas was nothing but a pagan festival covered with a Christian veneer. Hence, most people did not celebrate Christmas during the first 2 centuries of white settlement in this country. Considering the rocky start that Christmas celebrations had in this country, it is somewhat surprising that the Christmas tree would become the icon that it is in American culture today. And not just in America, but also around the world, even in countries where Christianity's influence is minimal, like Japan, for instance. Given the popularity of the Christmas tree tradition worldwide, I am going to go out on a limb here and disagree with the Puritans. I believe that the pagan roots of the Christmas holiday are a strength rather than a weakness. As a Unitarian Universalist, I believe that this connection between the pagan and the Christian traditions is something to be celebrated rather than ignored or suppressed. After all, without the pagan practice of bringing greenery indoors and lighting candles and fires during the dark and cold winter months in the Northern Hemisphere, one of the most cherished Christmas traditions, putting up an evergreen tree and decorating it with lights, wouldn't exist. More importantly, though, I believe there's also a spiritual connection between these 2 traditions. The hope for new light, the hope for renewal and new life. As a matter of fact, these are universal values shared across many faith traditions and cultures. So in this season, we share in celebrating new light in whichever form is meaningful to us. Whether it is the winter solstice, with its promise of longer and warmer days, or in the birth of Jesus, who Christians consider to be the light of the world. We share in celebrating our interconnectedness. We share our hope for peace, for joy, for love, and for justice in this world. May it be so. May we make it so. Amen. And now, in the spirit of celebrating new light, in just a moment, we are going to fill our congregation with the light of our candles. Kindled first with the anvil candle here on the chancel. Brittany and I will light our candles and come around and light the candles of those sitting closest to the aisles. Please share the light with your neighbor until all our candles are lit. There are some important things to know about this ritual to keep us all safe. First, you will want to tip the unlit candle to the lit candle to pass along the light. Second, as tempting as it may be, you will not conduct the music with your candle, but rather hold it close to you, maybe with help from an adult if you are among the youngest gathered here this evening. After all the candles are lit, we will join together in singing Silent Night. We will start with a verse in German and then switch to English. The lyrics will be on the screen. As the song ends, follow my lead and lift your candle up high, then bring it down to your face, and we will blow out our candles together. After that, we will then burst into a triumphant version of Joy to the World. The most important thing to know about this ritual is that when you go home tonight, you can light another candle. And that flame is from the same spark as the candles we lit here tonight. The light of our flames burn bright within us, and we get to share that light with everyone else around us. Now, let us begin by rising in body or in spirit.
All
invite you to rest your hands upon your heart or clasp hands with those you are sharing your life with. Our words of benediction come from theologian Howard Thurman. When the song of the angels is stilled, when the star in the sky is gone, when the kings and princes are home, when the shepherds are back with their flocks, the work of Christmas begins.
To find the lost, to heal the broken, to feed the hungry, to release the prisoner, to rebuild the nations, to bring peace among the people, to make music in the heart. Go in peace.